My archenemy, Willow Liu, the Liu family's heiress, straight up poached my family's client during a business meeting. But instead of flipping out, I did the total opposite. I dropped to one knee and proposed to her right there in front of everyone. As expected, Willow, and everyone else, froze like their brains blue-screened. After all, my family and the Lius have been sworn enemies across the city for generations, and Willow and I are the same age, grew up together. Since I was a kid, I was raised with one rule: never lose to her. But reality check. Willow has always smoked me in every field. It wasn't until later that I accidentally found out she'd been secretly in love with me for years. That's when the perfect revenge plan quietly booted up in my head. If I can't beat her in the marketplace, then I'll switch arenas. Chapter 1. The Awakening of a Weakling with a Power Level of 5. My name is George Wang, 25 years old, heir of the Wang Group. Sounds badass, right? Unfortunately, the person sitting across from me is Willow Liu, the heiress of the Liu Corporation, my nemesis, my nightmare, the biggest roadblock of my entire life. Right now, she's crossing her legs gracefully, tapping her scarlet-painted nails on the table, the tip of her high heel hovering way too close to my crotch. I instinctively clamp my legs together. Willow parts her red lips slightly. George, your company's market share dropped another 3 points last quarter. My dad says the men in your Wang family get worse every generation. Looks like he wasn't wrong. A few snickers ripple through the meeting room, from our own executives. Snicks. Every last one of them. I clench my fists so hard my knuckles go pale. And to make it worse, she's wearing a low-cut black dress today, her pale skin glowing under the lights. No doubt about it. This is a straight-up seduction and distract combo. Director Liu, I force a smile, market fluctuations are totally normal. Besides, our new product R&D investment. Higher costs, lower output. Willow cuts me off, pulling a report from her folder and flicking it onto the table. Here's the comparison data. Oh, and by the way, your technical director joined us last week. What? I shoot up from my chair, the screech of metal legs slicing through the silence. Marco? The guy I hired with triple salary. Sit down, George. My father's voice thunders from the head of the table. You look like a damn rooster with its feathers all puffed up. Willow's lips curl into a victory smile. Even her smile feels like a blade, clean, precise, stabbing straight into my chest. When the meeting finally ends, I head straight to the rooftop for a smoke. 3 cigarettes later, my lungs are on fire, but my head's finally clear. This beef goes way back, to my grandfather's era. The Wang and Liu families were once local tycoons, even on decent terms. Until one land auction, when my grandfather pulled some shady moves and snatched a prime lot the Lius had been eyeing. From that day on, the grudge was born, and 3 generations of rivalry became our family's legacy. In my generation, Willow Liu is 2 years older than me, the ultimate, perfect daughter next door. If I ranked second in exams, she was first. If I passed piano level 8, she went pro. I got into a top domestic university, she went straight to the Ivy League. Now we both run our family businesses, and she's still stepping on my neck. Sir, the chairman wants to see you in his office. My secretary snaps me out of it. I stub out my cigarette, heart sinking. Grit. Another verbal beatdown. Sure enough, the moment I step inside, my father's face is stormy. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was? He roars, slamming the table. You got humiliated by that girl in front of all the senior executives. I look down, fiddling with my cufflinks. She caught me off guard. I didn't know Marco jumped ship. Didn't know. My father's veins bulge. You should have known. There's a negotiation with the Liu family next Monday. Screw it up again and I'll send you to the African branch to dig mines. As I leave, I run into my mom. She hands me a cup of honey water. Don't blame your dad, she says softly. The Lius have taken several of our biggest clients. The board's breathing down his neck. I down the honey water in one gulp, sweet on the tongue, bitter in the chest. Just like my life. Shiny outside, miserable inside. Back home, I flop onto the sofa and open my phone gallery. Don't get it twisted, I'm not a creep. These are receipts of Willow's evil deeds, photos of her rolling her eyes during my speeches, screenshots of her award flexes, even a note she wrote in high school accusing me of cheating. Don't ask how I got it. My finger lands on the latest photo, one I secretly snapped during today's meeting. She's holding the report midair, chin tilted, that mocking smirk on her red lips. Damn it, even her nostrils look perfect. Damn it, I curse, tossing my phone aside. Just then, a historical drama plays on TV. The male lead tells the heroine, "If I can't defeat you, then I'll marry you and tame you slowly at home." I bolt upright like I've been struck by lightning. Wait, that's genius. I grab my phone and call my best friend, David. Hey, what do you think someone should do if they keep losing to the same person? Call the cops, David mumbles. Bro, it's 3 a.m. Not fighting, I mean everything. Work, life, arguments. That's easy, he yawns. Marry her and prove your worth in bed. I freeze. Is this what they mean by great minds think alike? The next morning, I show up at the family breakfast meeting with dark circles under my eyes. Everyone looks at me like I'm an endangered species. I have an idea. I set my coffee down, voice hoarse. About dealing with the Lius. Instant silence. My dad's fried egg hangs midair. I'm going to marry Willow. Pfft. My sister sprays orange juice everywhere. My mom drops her fork. My dad's egg lands, right on his Hermes tie. Are you insane? My father asks, blotting his tie. Do you even know what our relationship with the Lius is like? Exactly why we should do a marriage alliance. I pull out the PPT I made overnight. First, a merger pushes combined market share past 40%. Second, the Liu's cash flow is shaky. They need money, fast. Third, I take a breath and drop the nuke. Willow is 28 and her dad's forcing blind dates. Last week, they set her up with a balding VC. She dumped red wine on his crotch on the spot. Everyone is stunned. I close the laptop. Instead of endless corporate warfare, why not turn enemies into family? Besides, I flash a wicked grin. Once she's my wife, I can suppress her however I like. After a long pause, my grandfather slams the table laughing. Brilliant! I stole their land. Now my grandson steals their granddaughter. True Wang family spirit. My dad looks constipated. You sure you can handle Willow? That girl's not easy. Exactly. That's what makes it fun. I raise a brow, suddenly hyped. 3 days later, during a routine negotiation, I do something that nukes the room. While Willow is flexing her PPT about how her quarter crushed ours, I walk up and turn off the projector. George, you? She narrows her eyes, danger radiating. I drop to one knee and open a ring box. Willow, marry me. The collective gasp sounds like a dozen vacuum cleaners shutting down. Willow looks like someone shoved a live cockroach in her mouth. Wife, what? I said. I raise my voice. Willow, let's get married. You can't marry just anyone, and I can't find a wife stronger than you. Instead of torturing each other from the outside, let's torture each other to old age from the inside. Her face twists. You're asking for death. Wait. I lean in, whispering loud enough for all to hear. I hear the Lius are short on cash. The bank won't lend for the West City project. She stiffens. If we marry, the Wangs inject capital. And the bride price includes that land you've wanted. Willow's father's eyes light up. Ridiculous. Willow snaps. You think I'd do it for money? Not for money. I cut in, suddenly serious. To end this boring feud. Besides, I lower my voice. You secretly like me, don't you? Her face flames. In high school, when I got hurt, who slipped ointment into my locker? That was expiring. And that startup contest. Why did you underreport profits so I'd rank above you? She starts cracking. And last month, why cancel poaching our supplier? Silence. Everyone's watching. All right. She finally smiles. A chill runs down my spine. I agree. One condition. Name it. After the wedding, we live at my place. She smiles sweetly. Mine's bigger. Just like that, we're engaged. As we pose with a fake hug, she hisses, "You'll regret this." I tighten my arms, grin. "Likewise, Your Highness." Outside, my sister texts, "Bro, are you serious?" "That's Willow. You sure you can handle her?" I reply, "If I can't beat her, I'll marry her." Wait and see. Who humiliates who isn't decided yet. After sending it, I realize I may have dug myself a massive hole. But watching Willow storm off in heels, I think, this hole? Kinda thrilling. After all, if you can't defeat the enemy, might as well make them yours, right? Chapter 2, The Co-Living Battle begins. The day we got our marriage certificate, Willow wore all black like she was at a funeral. I wore a bright red tie, festive, glowing, proud groom energy. Outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, she sneers. "You'll be crying soon." "How could I, darling?" I wrap an arm around her waist, the softness jolting my heart. One night with my lovely wife is worth 1,000 gold pieces. She stomps my shoe with her stiletto. "Remove your filthy paw before I remove it for you." During the photo, she steps closer. I yank her into my arms. I look like a fox who stole a hen. She's rolling her eyes sky high. "Now go home and pack," she orders. "You're moving in tonight." "So eager." I grin. "Can't wait for the wedding night?" "Say one more word and you're sleeping in the garage." I shut up. A smart man knows when to fold, especially when his wife's pencil skirt curves make his throat go dry. Willow's apartment was in the priciest complex downtown, a penthouse duplex that looked like a modern art museum. Cold. Minimalist. Zero soul. "You'll stay in the guest room," she said, pointing toward a tiny space under the stairs that looked more like a storage closet. I poked my head in. Holy hell. Once you shoved a single bed in there, you wouldn't even be able to turn around. Pretty sure the marriage law says couples are supposed to live together properly, right? "Then sue me." She kicked off her heels and walked barefoot across the marble floor. "By the way, my dad's college buddy is a judge. And your dad's tax situation." "The guest room is perfect," I said instantly. "I love small spaces. Feels safe." Satisfied, she nodded and went upstairs, leaving me and my 2 suitcases staring at each other like we just lost a war. By the time I made the guest room barely livable, it was already dark. My stomach was screaming, so I went to the kitchen to find something to eat, only to discover the fridge contained nothing but bottled water and face masks. I yelled upstairs, "Do you live on photosynthesis or what?" No answer. I sighed and ordered takeout. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. "Who told you to order takeout?" Willow's voice suddenly appeared behind me like a ghost. I nearly dropped the spicy hot pot all over the floor. "What else am I supposed to do?" I snapped. "Drink your fancy mineral water for dinner?" I hugged the takeout bag defensively. "Don't tell me you've got some no food allowed rule." She rolled her eyes, turned around, and headed upstairs. "Just air out the smell when you're done. I hate greasy odors." I flipped her off behind her back and started demolishing my food. Halfway through, my phone rang. It was my sister. "Bro. Big problem," she screeched. "Mom and Dad are coming to your place tomorrow with the Liu parents for a housewarming ceremony." "What?" I choked on a fishball, coughing like my life depended on it. "Tomorrow?" "Yeah. Mom just bought a bunch of crabs. She says she's cooking for everyone." My brain completely short-circuited. According to local custom, newlyweds had to host both sets of parents for a housewarming, basically a home inspection plus a free meal. The problem was Willow and I were a fake couple held together by duct tape and mutual annoyance. Tomorrow, we were screwed. Just as I was spiraling, footsteps came down the stairs. Willow appeared wearing a silk robe, damp hair cascading over her shoulders, clearly fresh out of the shower. My throat tightened. I looked away fast. "My parents are coming tomorrow," she said, waving her phone, her expression dark. "They said it's for a housewarming ceremony." "What a coincidence," I laughed awkwardly. "Mine too." Our eyes met. We both sighed. "Listen," Willow said, pulling out a chair and sitting down. The robe slipped slightly, flashing a hint of skin. "Tomorrow we need to act convincing. If my dad finds out this marriage is fake, pulling investment will be the least of our problems. Got it? I nodded. But you'll have to upgrade me to the master bedroom. What kind of newlyweds sleep separately? She narrowed her eyes. Keep dreaming. Then we'll get exposed, I shrugged. My mom's sharp. She'll notice instantly we're not sharing a bed. Her fingernails tapped the table in a slow, dangerous rhythm. After a long pause, she said reluctantly, "Fine. You can sleep in the master bedroom on the floor." Deal. I grinned. Mission accomplished. The next morning, Willow kicked me awake. Up. She threw a shopping bag at me. Go buy breakfast, Chinese and Western. Enough for 10 people. And, she pointed at the bags under my eyes, do something about those. You look like a panda. Half asleep, I staggered toward the bathroom. The door was ajar, water running inside. On impulse, I pushed it open. Steam exploded everywhere. Willow stood under the shower, back to me, water sliding down her spine, over her waist and further. Ah! She spun around, grabbed a bottle of body wash, and hurled it at my head. George, you're dead. I stumbled out, slamming my shoulder into the doorframe. Pain shot through me, but damn, that image was burned into my brain forever. Better than a triple espresso. When I came back with breakfast, Willow was fully dressed, busy in the kitchen. To my shock, there were actual proper dishes laid out. You made these? I asked, leaning closer. They smelled insane. Who else? She said without looking up. The breakfast fairy? Pour ce soit milk. Plate the pastries. I obeyed, sneaking glances. Hair tied up, apron on, she looked almost like a real wife instead of the corporate dominatrix she usually was. If only she were this gentle more often. Stare any longer and I'll gouge your eyes out. Still the same demon queen. At exactly 10, the doorbell rang. For parents stormed in with gift bags and shopping baskets, instantly filling the cold apartment with chaos. Oh, this place is lovely, my mom gushed. Just needs more warmth. I'll buy you embroidered lovebird pillows later. Willow sweetly wrapped her arm around mine. Thank you, Auntie. Auntie? Mr. Liu frowned. Thank you, Mom. Willow's voice dropped to a whisper. I nearly lost it laughing. I pinched her waist. She retaliated by twisting my back so hard I almost screamed. What a loving couple, my dad said, totally clueless. At lunch, Willow served a full, beautiful spread. I tried the braised pork and almost died from shock. You really made this? Who else? She raised an eyebrow smugly. You think I only know PowerPoint? Willow's always been good in the kitchen, Mrs. Liu said proudly. She's been taking care of people since she was little. That triggered a memory, high school camping trip, when I forgot my lunch and Willow, accidentally, made an extra sandwich and shoved it at me. It tasted so good I'd thought it was poisoned. After lunch came the dreaded inspection. My heart jumped. My blankets were still on the floor in the master bedroom. We'll go cut fruit, I said, grabbing Willow's hand and dragging her away. What's wrong with you? She said calmly, pulling free. I already handled it. Sure enough, the floor bedding was gone. The big bed was artfully messy, and on the nightstand sat an opened box of condoms. My dad's grin could have split his face in half. Mr. Liu looked proud and devastated at the same time. After the parents left, I collapsed on the sofa. Thank God that's over. Your acting sucked, Willow said, kicking my leg. Why were you staring at me the whole time? Is it illegal to look at my own wife? I shot back. Besides, you looked kinda domestic. She froze for half a second, ears turning pink. Shut up. That night, I stood at the master bedroom door holding my blanket. Where's my floor bed? Make it yourself. She was already in pajamas, wiping off makeup. Without eyeliner, her face looked softer. Almost cute. Keep staring and I'll start charging, she said flatly. Charging me to look at my own wife? I smirked. According to Article 24 of the marriage law. A pillow smacked my face. Sleep. In the dark, I listened to her breathing slow. Weirdly comforting. Enemies our whole lives, now sharing a room. The next morning, the smell of coffee woke me. Willow was frying eggs. Wow, I muttered. Sun rising in the west? Shut up and eat. Perfect eggs. Toast. I nearly cried. Last homemade breakfast I'd had was before college. Don't forget the board meeting, she said. 9:30. West City Project. High stakes. In the boardroom, directors grilled Willow. She was barely holding it together. I think Director Lou's plan is visionary, I said suddenly. Silence. Positioning West City as a luxury business district fit the trends perfectly. Willow stared at me. I winked. Married now, shared fate, shared money. The proposal passed. Afterward, she cornered me. Why did you help me? Who said I did? I shrugged. I just like money. She stared, then smiled. Real smile. Dinner's on me tonight. Ha! Eat or starve. Extra meat. And just like that, our weird cohabitation began. By day, corporate enemies. By night, shared meals. My stuff slowly invaded her space. One night, I came home to find her watching empresses in the palace, eating my chips. Thought this show was stupid? Shut up, she muttered. Consort was about to murder someone. Later she warmed me snacks. Don't misunderstand. I just don't want to be a widow. My chest melted. At a retreat, I got drunk. She cursed me out, wiped my face anyway. Next morning, hangover pills, water, note, drink this. Next time sleep on the street. Crap. I was falling for this devil woman. Meanwhile, Willow's diary read, that idiot remembered I hate cilantro. Why is my heart beating so fast? Chapter 3, X's and Truths. Monday morning, tying my tie, Willow appeared in the mirror and scared the hell out of me. 3 p.m. Video call with Bytian Capital. Bytian? I frowned. New investors. They asked to meet both of us. She left, heels clicking. And clean your stinky socks. At 2:50, she was already in the room. You're late. There's still 10 minutes. She shifted away. You smell. Then the screen lit up. Willow. Long time no see. Her face froze. Makoto? I'm the founder. He looked at me. Mr. Wang. I casually draped my arm over Willow's chair, territory claimed. Mr. Ito, do you know my wife? We were college classmates. Makoto's eyes flicked between me and Willow. To be more exact, we're exes. I almost slid off my chair. Willow had an ex? And not just any ex, this elite guy? That's ancient history, Willow said, quickly pulling herself together. Mr. Ito, I assume you're here for business? Of course. Makoto instantly flipped the switch. We're very interested in the West City project, but there are a few details we need to go over. The whole meeting, I was uncomfortable as hell. Makoto sounded polite, but his eyes barely left Willow. What pissed me off the most was that Willow actually smiled the entire time, a smile I almost never saw on her. After the meeting, I grabbed her arm as she was about to leave. Ex? What the hell was that about? Why does it concern you? She shook my hand off. How does it not concern me? I lowered my voice. The whole company knows you're my wife, and then he suddenly shows up. What's the deal? Willow rolled her eyes. That was 5 years ago. Can you grow up a little? The way he looks at you doesn't feel like it was 5 years ago, I said sourly. Willow suddenly leaned in, so close I could count her eyelashes. George, don't tell me you're jealous. Ah. I forced an exaggerated laugh. Jealous? I'd be thrilled if you got back with him. Then I'd finally be free. The moment the words left my mouth, I knew I'd screwed up. Willow's face went ice cold. Don't worry, she said, turning away. Our marriage is just a business deal. You're free to look for whoever you want. Watching her walk away, my chest tightened. Damn it. That wasn't what I meant. At all. That night, I stayed late on purpose. When I finally got home, the apartment was pitch black. I turned on the lights and saw a cold meal on the dining table, with a sticky note beside it. If you're not eating, throw it away. Ooh. I stared at the plate of sweet and sour ribs, feeling weirdly heavy inside. After reheating the food and finishing it, I crept upstairs quietly. No lights seeped from the master bedroom. I gently pushed the door open. Willow was lying on her side, facing away, breathing evenly. I lay down on the floor mat, staring at the ceiling. Then her voice came from the darkness. He was a year ahead of me. We broke up after graduation. I held my breath. He went to the US for an MBA. I stayed here. Long distance didn't even last half a year. She turned over. I still couldn't see her face. That's it. Nothing special. I didn't know what to say. So stop looking like you just got cheated on, she snapped. It's pathetic. That one hurt. I sat up. I'm not. Go to sleep. We've got a client meeting tomorrow. She pulled the blanket up, clearly done with the conversation. The next noon, Willow and I met an important client. To my absolute horror, Makoto was there too, and sitting right next to her. What a coincidence. Makoto pulled out a chair for Willow like a total gentleman. I remember you liked Cantonese food. I nearly snapped my chopsticks. After a few rounds of drinks, the topic shifted to golf. Makoto started flexing about his club membership and handicap. Mr. Wong, you play too, right? He suddenly threw at me. Sometimes, I said modestly. In reality, my golf skills were pure trash. Our club's got a game this weekend. Makoto smiled. You should come, and bring Willow. Willow. So casual. I was about to refuse when Willow cut in. Sure. It'd be a good chance for George to learn something from Makoto. I stared at her in disbelief. She pretended not to notice. She was definitely doing this on purpose. As dinner dragged on, the client started pushing drinks hard. Willow's tolerance wasn't great. After a few glasses, her cheeks were flushed. I stepped in and took her drinks for her. Mr. Wong can really drink, the client laughed, refilling my glass. Come on, one more. Glass after glass, my vision blurred. The last thing I remembered was Willow frowning as she helped me into the car, and me shamelessly stealing a kiss from her cheek. When I woke up, I was sprawled on our couch, head pounding. Willow sat across from me holding a cup of honey water, her expression unreadable. You're awake. She handed me the cup. Do you remember what you said last night? I tried to think. I complimented you? Not just that. She pulled out her phone and hit play. I've liked you since high school. Every time you glared at me, my heart raced. That school uniform skirt? I even dreamed about it. I nearly choked on the honey water. Oh my God. I said that? I was drunk, I stammered. I didn't mean it. Oh. Willow raised an eyebrow. And this part? She played another clip. The marriage was on purpose, that so-called business alliance. I just wanted to marry you, to piss off your dad. I groaned and buried my face in my hands. Great. Full confession. Zero filter. Willow turned off her phone and looked at me quietly. Through my fingers, I peeked and caught the faint curve of her lips. So, she said slowly, this marriage was your carefully planned scheme? It's not. I lowered my hands. Maybe at first, but later. Later what? Later I realized you're impossible to deal with, I muttered, giving up. But somehow, I just like you more. Her expression softened for a split second, then she snapped back. Idiot. I thought she'd roast me again, but instead she stood up. Don't embarrass me at golf this weekend. As she walked away, I let out a long breath. Did I just pass? Saturday morning, I put on my brand new golf outfit, palms sweaty as hell. Willow, meanwhile, looked effortlessly chill, white shirt, khaki pants, fresh like a college kid. Relax. She handed me a bottle of water. You're going to lose anyway. Could you say something supportive for once? I groaned. She reached up and straightened my collar. Her fingers brushed my neck, sending a shiver straight down my spine. Just come back alive. Makoto's smile froze for a split second when he saw us together. He teed off first, perfect swing, ball landing beautifully near the green. Then it was my turn. My palms were slick, my brain replaying every golf tutorial I crammed last night. Relax, Willow whispered by my ear. Don't stiffen your wrists. She stepped behind me, guiding my hands on the club. Her breath brushed my ear. My mind went totally blank. I hit a perfect grounder. The ball rolled pathetically about 50 meters and stopped. Makoto laughed. First time playing Mr. Wong? Second, I said stiffly. No worries, he said fake nice. Practice makes perfect. The rest was torture. Makoto showed off nonstop while I flailed like a toddler. Worse, Willow clapped politely every time he made a good shot. By the ninth hole, I was over 20 strokes behind. How about a bet? Makoto suddenly said. Loser buys dinner. Sure, I forced a smile. Let's raise it, he said, glancing at Willow. If I win, I'd like dinner alone with Willow. Just to catch up. My blood boiled. If I win, I said through clenched teeth, you stay the hell away from my wife. Makoto raised an eyebrow. Deal. Willow sighed, rubbing her temples. You two are children. On the final hole I locked in. Maybe anger gave me power. My shot landed less than 10 yards from the hole. Makoto overestimated himself. His ball sliced right into a bunker. Lucky shot, he muttered. I won by a hair. Makoto left early, face dark as hell. Didn't know you had it in you, Willow said on the ride back. Rare praise? Of course. I grinned. Had to fight for my wife. Yeah, right. She turned to the window, but I caught the blush creeping up her ears. At home, Willow went straight to the bathroom. I collapsed on the couch, replaying the day, grinning like an idiot. Maybe this fake marriage could actually turn real. I was mid-daydream when the bathroom door flew open. George, the water heater's broken. I rushed upstairs. Steam filled the bathroom. Her hair was dripping, robe loose, collarbone beauty mark in full view. Let me see. I bent down, trying not to lose my mind. Can you fix it? She leaned closer. Her shower gel scent hit me hard. Probably just the circuit. My voice tightened. She slipped. Fell right onto my back. We crashed onto the wet tiles together. She straddled my lap, robe half open, one shoulder bare. Time froze. Her eyes were dark, shining. I felt her heartbeat, fast and shaky. My throat went dry. She jumped up, tightening her robe. Just fix it and get out. I fled, heart racing. Did she feel it too? That night, I couldn't sleep. My birthday's next week, Willow said from the bed above. Oh, October 18th, I blurted. Of course I remember. You do. She sounded surprised. In high school, I sent you anonymous chocolates every year. Instant regret. From the dark, she laughed softly. So it was you. They tasted awful. They were Belgian. I protested. And expensive. This year, she paused. I want a real present. Sure. What do you want? Haven't decided. Her voice softened. Go to sleep. The next morning, Willow was curled on the sofa, pale. What's wrong? It's nothing, just the usual. I got it. Hold on. I made ginger brown sugar tea from memory. It's hot. She stared at it, unreadable. Don't get emotional, I smirked. I just don't want you dying. No one else would cook for me. She rolled her eyes but drank it. I slipped a heat patch into her coat pocket and escaped. That evening she looked better, making porridge. On the table sat a box with my favorite team's limited edition autograph. What's this? Freebie, she said. No one wanted it. I grinned. Typical her. Before bed, the futon was gone. An extra pillow sat on the bed. The floor's cold, she said. But don't cross the line. Yes, ma'am, I whispered. As you command, my dear wife. I heard her laugh, soft reel. That night, I slept better than I had in years. Chapter 4, Birthday and Betrayal. A week before Willow's birthday, I secretly made a WeChat group, Operation Command Center. Members, my sister, David, and Willow's assistant, Laura. I texted, she's free that day, right? Laura replied instantly, Miss Lou cleared her schedule. Also, I saw it written on her calendar. Not sure what that means. Gift garden? Nah, that makes zero sense. It's not even spring. Then it hit me, G stands for gathering. She's looking forward to a family reunion. Change of plans. I typed fast. We're not doing it at the restaurant anymore. It's at home. David, you handle the chef. Sis, your job is to trick our parents and the Lius into coming. I want it to be a surprise. Are you serious, bro? My sister sent a full-on facepalm emoji. The last family gathering nearly blew the roof off. This time's different, I said, confident as hell. Over the next few days, I moved like a low-budget spy right under Willow's nose, calling a decoration company while she showered, sneaking out under the excuse of overtime to order the cake, even secretly measuring her ring finger. Yeah, I plan to give her a ring. Not a wedding ring, calm down, but a custom one with her birthstone. The night before her birthday, Willow was still working late. I used the time to decorate the living room, ribbons, balloons everywhere, and a slideshow of her childhood photos looping softly in the background. At 1 a.m, just as I was hanging the last ribbon, the door lock clicked. Crap. I killed the lights and hid in the kitchen. George. Willow's tired voice echoed. I held my breath. She turned on the lights and froze. The wall was covered in rose petals spelling Happy Birthday, Willow, and unopened gift boxes were lined up neatly on the dining table. Come out, she sighed. I can see your shoes. I stepped out awkwardly. Just setting things up early. Wanted to surprise you tomorrow. She looked around, expression unreadable. You didn't have to do all this. What do you mean didn't have to? It's your first birthday since we got married. She lowered her gaze, lashes casting shadows on her cheeks. Thank you. That thank you was soft as hell, but it hit me straight in the chest. I reached out to hug her, she sidestepped. I'm tired. I'll shower first. Watching her walk away, I scratched my head. Something felt off. The next morning, I sneaked into Willow's study looking for her passport. I said it was for a visa application, but honestly, I just wanted to make sure she had no travel plans that day. Her study was spotless, like a showroom, except for one drawer stuffed with documents. While searching, I accidentally knocked a photo frame off the shelf. As I bent down, I noticed a small safe hidden behind the bookshelf. What was weird? The door was slightly open, like it had been used recently. Curiosity got the better of me. I crouched and peeked inside. Several file folders. The top one made my blood go ice cold. Evidence of Wong Group's violations. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside, thick stacks of documents. Tax evasion. Shady land deals. Even intimate photos of my father with certain officials. The latest file, dated last week, detailed suspicious fund movements in the Wong Group's West City project. What are you looking for? Willow's voice came from behind me. I spun around, shocked. Papers scattered everywhere. She stood in the doorway in her bathrobe, water dripping from her hair, but her expression was ice cold. Explain this. I pointed at the papers, voice shaking. What the hell is all this? For a split second, panic flashed in her eyes. Then she locked it down. Just business research. Business research? I grabbed a photo. This too? My dad having dinner with the Land Bureau director? You had someone tail him? That was a public event, she said tightly. And this? I snatched another file. Wong Group's internal quarterly report. This is classified. How the hell did you get it? Silence. Then it clicked. You married me for this? To get easier access to dirt on the Wong family? No. She snapped her head up. At first, yes, but later. Later what? I stepped closer, pissed. Later you realized how easy I was to fool, so you just kept playing along? George, it's not what you think. Then what is it? I shouted. You've been using me this whole time. Cooking for me. Taking care of me. Even sleeping with me. Was it all fake? Her face went pale. I didn't. Enough. I grabbed my jacket and stormed out. The birthday party's cancelled. Congrats, you fooled me for 3 months. George. She chased me to the door. Where are you going? As far away from you as possible, liar. I slammed the door. I wandered the streets like a zombie. October wind cut sharp, but I felt nothing. My head was a mess, brown sugar water she made, the sports card she slipped under my pillow, that drunk confession she'd recorded. Was it all fake? Next thing I knew, I was at David's place. He saw my face and didn't ask a thing, just grabbed whiskey. 3 glasses later, I spilled everything. So, David said, your wife's been collecting evidence against your family. Trying to take down Wang Group? Yeah. I downed another glass. And you don't know why? Do I need to? It's family hatred. She grew up hating the Wangs. David frowned. Then why does she keep those chocolate wrappers from high school? What wrappers? Last time I was at your place, saw a box on her top shelf. Full of wrappers and a note, for the person I hate the most. Wasn't that from you? Half the alcohol evaporated instantly. Those stupid imported chocolates, she kept them? No, doesn't matter, I muttered. She betrayed me. Then why'd she sleep with you? David asked bluntly. We didn't. Wait, how do you know? That hickey on your neck, man. Whole basketball team saw it last week. I touched my neck. Willowhead. Stuff. My phone buzzed. Bro. Mom and Dad are already at the villa. Chef's ready. Where the hell are you? My sister. The birthday plan. I checked the time. 4 p.m. party was at 6. Cancel it, I texted. What? No way. The Liu's parents flew back from South City just for this. I turned off my phone, head pounding. Go back and face her? Or just disappear? David patted my shoulder. Go back. Ask her. What if it's all a misunderstanding? What misunderstanding explains her gathering dirt on my family? Maybe she was trying to protect them. I laughed bitterly. Willow helping me? Yeah, when the sun rises in the west. So I went back. For parents were already there. Couldn't just ditch. By the time I reached the villa, night had fallen. Lights glowed, laughter spilling out. Party started without me. I took a breath and opened the door. Poof. Confetti everywhere. Happy birth. It's you, bro. My sister froze, spray can hanging awkwardly. Everyone turned. Parents, David, Lar. Friedrich. Mountains of gifts. George. My mom rushed over. Where've you been? Willow said you had an emergency. I scanned the room. No Willow. Upstairs changing, Mr. Liu said, handing me wine. I smiled through small talk, mine stuck upstairs. 20 minutes later, Willow came down. Wine red dress. Hair perfect. Makeup flawless, except her swollen eyes. She'd been crying. Happy birthday. The moms surrounded her. She smiled weakly. When her eyes met mine, she looked away. Dinner was hell. We sat far apart, strangers. You two fight, my dad whispered. No. Cake time. She blew out candles like a robot. Gift time, my sister cheered. Then it was my turn. The blue velvet box burned in my pocket. My throat tightened. I didn't prepare anything. Her smile faltered, but she forced it. That's okay. Then Lara spoke up. Miss Liu, what's that on your calendar? Willow froze, blushing. It's nothing. It stands for Jia, home, I said, because she wanted to celebrate at home. I pulled out the box. So, I did prepare something. She stiffened. Not a wedding ring, I said, awkward laugh. Relax. Inside, a sapphire ring, cut like a willow leaf. October's birthstone, I said hoarsely. Sapphire, loyalty and trust. I emphasized trust. She went pale. Gasps everywhere. I slid it onto her finger, her hand ice cold. Thank you, she whispered. I drank till blackout. Last thing I remember, Willow helping me upstairs. Don't touch me, liar. Morning. Guest room. Splitting headache. Honey water. Hangover pills. The velvet box, empty. Where's Miss Liu? I croaked. She left early, Lara said hesitantly. President Wang about last night? It's fine. The cake, she didn't eat any. Pain stabbed my chest. Oh, Mr. Makoto called, Lara added. West City Project's funding has a problem. What kind? Main investor pulled out. My stomach dropped. On the way to the office, those files replayed in my head. Why did she collect evidence? Threaten my dad? I walked in. Willow was on the phone, tense. She hung up when she saw me. Investor withdrew, I said. I'll handle it. Why? They questioned profitability. I laughed coldly. Let me guess, word got out Wang and Lu groups aren't on good terms, so investors panicked? She snapped her head up. What do you mean? Exactly what it sounds like, I said, stepping closer. Funny how Makoto found out about our fight so damn fast. You told him, didn't you? I didn't. She shot to her feet. I only found out this morning myself. What a joke. I sneered. What a coincidence. I just found out you've been digging up dirt on my family, and boom, your project funding collapses. What's next? You gonna threaten my dad into investing? Willow's face went pale. George, it's not what you think. Then what is it? I snapped. Tell me. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. After a long pause, she rubbed her temples, looking wiped out. Get out. My pleasure. I slammed the door behind me. For the next week, we might as well have been strangers. I moved into the guest room, left early, came back late, and dodged her every chance I got. At the company, the West City project was totally stalled, and the board was at each other's throats nonstop. Friday night was the company's annual gala. I was already pretty drunk when I noticed Willow surrounded by clients, all shoving drinks at her. She couldn't handle alcohol. After a few glasses, she was already swaying. On impulse, I barged over. My wife's had enough. I'll drink for her. Willow looked at me, surprised, her eyes complicated, unreadable. I downed glass after glass until my vision went fuzzy. The last thing I remembered was Willow helping me into the car. My head rested on her shoulder as I slurred, "Why did you lie to me? I liked you so much." When I woke up, I was back in the guest room again, my head splitting. I reached for my phone and saw one unread voice message, sent at 3 a.m. From Willow. I hit play. There was some rustling, then her drunken voice, soft, slurred. Those chocolates. I knew they were from you, they tasted awful, but I kept them. The wrappers are all wrinkled now, idiot. Who'd even want to collect dirt on your family anyway? My dad forced me. I didn't want to. The recording cut off. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. What did that mean? She didn't want to collect evidence? Then what? Before I could rush to her, my phone buzzed again. A message from the project's emergency group chat. Critical alert: the main investor for the West City project has officially withdrawn. Mr. Ito says there's an urgent backup plan. Presidents Wang and Lu, please report to the office immediately. My head cleared instantly. Makoto's urgent plan? Yeah, that couldn't be good. Chapter 5. Truth and Alliance. By the time I rushed into the office, still half hungover, the conference room was already chaos. Willow stood at the front by the projection screen, pale, but steady, calmly explaining the crisis. After Baidian Capital's withdrawal, the funding gap for the West City project has reached $270 million. If we can't cover it by next week, we'll be in breach of contract. I slipped into a seat at the back, but her eyes found me right away. Willow's gaze lingered for a second, complicated, unreadable, before she turned back to the screen. The numbers were terrifying. The West City project was Lu Group's lifeline. If it failed, bankruptcy and restructuring were inevitable. And as a major investor, Wang Group would take a massive hit too. Mr. Ito has arrived, the secretary announced. Makoto walked in, sharp suit, perfect smile. When his eyes met mine, the corner of his mouth curved up, like a fox that had just stolen a chicken. Thank you all for coming in on a weekend, he said smoothly, stepping beside Willow, way too close for my liking. Regarding the West City project, even though Baidian has withdrawn, I'm personally willing to offer a solution. He clicked the remote. The screen changed to an acquisition proposal. I'm prepared to buy out Lu Group's entire stake at 1.2 times the market price. That way, Lu Group avoids losses and even makes a small profit. The room erupted in gasps. On the surface, it looked generous, but anyone with half a brain could see the trap. Once the project was finished, its value would jump at least fivefold. Impossible, Willow said firmly. This project is vital to Lu Group. Makoto's smile didn't budge. Willow, don't be so quick to refuse. Given Lu Group's current situation, this is the best deal you'll get. Our finances are none of your concern, Willow shot back coldly. Makoto sighed and turned to me. And you, President Wang? As a major investor, surely Wang Group doesn't want this project to crash and burn. All eyes turned to me. Total trap. Agree, and I'd stab Willow in the back. Disagree, and I'd be accused of ignoring Wang Group's interests. I stood slowly dragging it out. This proposal has a fatal flaw. Makoto raised a brow. Oh. It seriously underestimates President Lu's ability. I walked forward and stopped beside Willow, shoulder to shoulder. I believe she'll solve the funding issue. Isn't that right, Willow? She blinked, surprised, then caught on fast. Of course. I've already contacted several potential investors. We'll have an answer next week. Makoto's smile froze. Is that so? He gathered his papers. Well then, good luck. As he turned to leave, he added casually, my offer stands, Willow. Anytime you change your mind. The meaning was crystal clear, as long as you leave George. When the meeting ended, I followed Willow into her office. You really have other investors? I asked, shutting the door. She pressed her fingers to her temples, exhaustion written all over her face. No, not yet. The market's trash, no one wants a project this big. Then what you said just now. A stalling move, she said, opening her laptop. I'll figure something out. I noticed the dark circles under her eyes, and something tightened in my chest. We barely spoke all week, yet she hadn't stopped worrying for a second. Why did you turn down Makoto? I asked suddenly. His offer wasn't terrible. Her head snapped up. Do you want me to accept it? I'm just curious, I shrugged. You two are old friends. George, she said slowly, I'd rather go bankrupt than sell that project to that hypocrite. That answer eased something inside me. So, can I see the latest project report? I asked. She hesitated, then slid a folder over. Financials are at the end. I flipped through it, pretending to study the numbers while sneaking glances at her. Sunlight hit her profile, pale and fragile, almost translucent. Seen enough? She asked suddenly. I coughed. I heard your voice message. Her fingers froze on the keyboard. You said you didn't want to collect dirt on my family. What did you mean? She took a deep breath and closed the laptop. Exactly what I said. Those files, my father forced me to gather them. He wanted leverage against Wang Group. Leverage? I frowned. Insurance so my family couldn't hurt yours? She let out a bitter laugh. Classic Lu paranoia. Then why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? She shot back. In your eyes, I was already the manipulative liar, wasn't I? I had no answer. There's more, Willow said after a pause. She opened a drawer and pulled out a thick envelope. You should see this. Inside were old, yellowed photos. In the first, two young men stood arm in arm at a construction site, grinning like best friends. This is... My throat went dry. Your grandfather and mine, Willow said softly. Back when they were friends. More photos, eating together, fishing together. One even showed both families posing side by side. Our fathers were kids then, wearing matching shirts, smiling like brothers. What is this? I whispered. Weren't they enemies? I only found out recently. She sighed. In that same safe with the evidence, these were hidden too. She pulled up a scanned document. This is the original land contract from 30 years ago. Your grandfather used some shady tactics, but what? But the land was meant to be his. She pointed to a tiny line. In consideration of Brother Wang's urgent need for land for his pharmaceutical factory, I willingly transfer it at the original price. My ears rang. And later, she continued, the contract was altered. That clause was deleted. So, I said slowly, 3 generations of hatred over a fake contract? Willow nodded. I've been digging for a long time. I only found the original recently. A dull ache spread through my chest. She hadn't been trying to attack my family, she'd been searching for the truth. And I'd accused her of betrayal. Why? I asked quietly. She looked down. Because hate is exhausting. Silence filled the room. What now? I asked. The project, and us. Project first, she said. We have 1 week. I've got an idea, I said. But I'll need you. What kind? Merger. A partial one. A joint venture just for West City. She frowned. The boards will freak. What if we frame it as ending a 30-year feud? I gestured to the photos. Legacy. Reconciliation. The media will eat that up. She thought for a long moment. It's worth a shot. Working late? I asked. She nodded. All right. And just like that, our weird ceasefire started. We worked nonstop, arguing, calculating, refining. The rhythm felt natural, like nothing had ever broken between us. At 8, takeout arrived. Willow opened the bag and frowned. Why is everything spicy? Don't you love spicy food? I said. Hot pot barely makes you sweat. That was... She stopped, ears turning red. How do you even know that? High school cafeteria, I blurted. You always added 2 spoons of chili sauce. I sat behind you. She smiled faintly but didn't tease me. By 2 a.m., the proposal was done. Willow had fallen asleep on the couch, pen still in hand. I covered her with a blanket, brushing hair from her forehead. She stirred. Our eyes met, too close. She sat up fast. What time is it? Past 2. I'll look at it tomorrow, she said quickly, avoiding my gaze. You want the master bedroom? The guest room AC's busted. Was this a truce? My heartbeat picked up. What about you? I'll take the couch, she said, gathering her files. Still got data to check. No way, I blurted out. You take the bed. I'll crash on the couch. Suit yourself. She turned toward the bedroom, then paused at the door. There's a new toothbrush in the bathroom cabinet. That night, I lay on the couch staring at the ceiling, sleep nowhere in sight. All I could see was Willow's drowsy face from earlier, and I couldn't help wondering how the hell we went from enemies to this in just 1 week. The next morning, I woke to sounds from the kitchen. Willow was making breakfast. Simple fried eggs and toast, nothing fancy, but still, it was her cooking. Eat, she said, sliding the plate toward me. We've got a board meeting at 9. I took the plate, a little startled by the gesture. The eggs were slightly overcooked, but I finished every bite anyway. The board meeting went way better than expected. When Willow and I presented the merger plan and showed those old photos, even the most stubborn directors hesitated. Interesting, my father said from the other end of the video call. Does old Lou know about this? Willow nodded. My father fully supports it. All right, my dad said finally. Give it a shot. But I want visible progress within 3 months. When the meeting ended, Willow and I exchanged a victorious high five, only to jerk apart the second our hands touched. The air between us went thick, awkward as hell. So, I cleared my throat. Should we start reaching out to the media for exposure? Willow kept her head down, organizing her files. I already scheduled interviews with a few business journalists. Just then, the secretary rushed in. President Lou, Mr. Ito is here. Says it's urgent. Willow frowned. Tell him to wait. No need, a voice cut in from behind. Makoto walked in uninvited, flawless as always. The moment his eyes landed on us standing together, his expression hardened. Well, he said coolly, looks like I'm interrupting something. Get to the point, Willow replied flatly. Makoto smiled faintly and handed her a folder. A new offer. 30% higher than before. On one condition. His gaze slid to me. You go back to being single. My fists clenched. You son of a... Makoto. Willow's voice cracked like a whip. Get out. Don't be so hasty, he said smoothly. You know better than anyone what shape the Lou Group is in. Without this money, you'll be bankrupt in a week. Willow's face went pale. Her fingers tightened around the folder. We don't need your money, I said suddenly. The project's funding issue has been solved. Makoto raised an eyebrow. Oh, and which investor would be that reckless? Wang Group, I said, locking eyes with him. I pledged my personal shares as collateral, an additional investment of 270 million. Willow snapped her head toward me, eyes wide. Honestly? I was just as shocked as she was. I decided that on the spot. You, Makoto's smug composure cracked. Do you even realize what that means? If this project fails. It won't fail, I cut him off. Not with Director Liu on board. Makoto glanced between us, then let out a low chuckle. How touching. Guess I underestimated this marriage of yours. He turned to leave but paused at the door. You have my number, Willow. My offer stands, whenever you change your mind. The door slammed shut behind him. Willow grabbed my wrist, her voice shaking. Are you insane? Those shares are your inheritance, your guarantee. So what? I shrugged. Worst case, I move back home and mooch off my parents. Why? Her voice trembled. Why would you do this? I met her reddened eyes, suddenly unable to joke my way out of it. Because, I took a deep breath. Because I trust you. Willow's lips trembled. Her eyes shimmered with something unspoken, anger, gratitude, something tangled in between. At last, she whispered, "Thank you." The air shifted, charged, fragile. We were standing way too close. I could feel her breath against my skin. Without thinking, I leaned in. She tilted her face up, just a little. President Liu. The secretary's voice sliced through the moment as the door burst open. The reporters are here. We jumped apart like we'd been electrocuted. Willow cleared her throat, straightening her jacket. I'll be right there. After the secretary left, she avoided my eyes. So, the press conference. Together, I said, holding out my hand. She hesitated, then placed her hand lightly in mine. Together. At the press conference, we were flawless. Perfect teamwork. Seamless timing. Words in sync, expressions matching like we'd rehearsed for years. We gave the media exactly what they wanted. A story about a business marriage that turned into unity, two families ending a decades-old feud to build an empire together. The reporters ate it up. Flashbulbs popped like fireworks. That's so touching, a female journalist gushed, dabbing at her eyes. So you're saying this was love after marriage? Well, I glanced at Willow. She smiled softly and slipped her arm through mine. Love begins in many ways, she said lightly. Ours might just be a little unconventional. She didn't confirm or deny anything, but my heart was pounding like I'd just run a marathon. On the way back to the office, neither of us mentioned the almost kiss. The next few days were a blur, merger paperwork, project relaunches, media follow-ups. Somehow, no matter how busy I got, I didn't feel tired. Watching Willow work, focused and radiant. Hearing her mutter, "idiot," under her breath when I messed up a spreadsheet. Even her prank of adding pepper to my coffee. All of it made me stupidly happy. By Friday night, we finally headed home early. Willow cooked noodles while I slumped on the couch watching a soccer match. Dinner's ready, she called, carrying over 2 steaming bowls of tomato and egg noodles. I took a bite and raised my eyebrows. Wow. You've leveled up, Chef Liu. Don't flatter me, she said, rolling her eyes, though a small smile tugged at her lips. We ate quietly, the commentator's excited voice filling the room. It was such an ordinary moment, so simple it felt precious. After dinner, Willow started clearing the dishes but accidentally knocked her folder off the counter. Papers scattered everywhere. I crouched to help, and froze. Among them lay a familiar notebook. Her diary. It had fallen open to a page that read, "That idiot looked kind of handsome when he blocked those drinks for me today." I froze. Willow gasped and snatched the diary back, her face turning bright red. We stared at each other. The air felt electric, like time had stopped. My throat went dry. "Don't look," she said, clutching it to her chest. It's nothing." I stepped closer, heart pounding so loud it drowned out my thoughts. Willow, Her phone rang. On the screen flashed one name. Makoto. Chapter 6, Crisis and True Feelings. Willow stared at the phone, her finger hovering. The fragile tension between us snapped instantly. Answer it, I said, forcing my voice steady. Put it on speaker. She took a breath and tapped the screen. Hello, Willow. Makoto's voice came through calm and smug. Have you made up your mind? My offer expires tomorrow. Willow's nails dug into her palm. I already told you, it's impossible. No rush, Makoto chuckled. I just got off the phone with Vice President Wang. He shared some interesting news. My brow twitched. Vice President Wang? My uncle? What kind of news? Willow asked tightly. For instance, Makoto said lazily, the mortgage on George's shares never passed board approval. And the West City project may suffer an accident tomorrow, causing an indefinite delay. I shot up so fast my chair screeched. What do you mean? Willow's face drained of color. Exactly what it sounds like, Makoto said coldly. This is your last chance. Sign the agreement, cut ties with Lu Corporation, and I'll make sure you walk away unharmed. Otherwise what? I grabbed the phone. Makoto, I dare you to touch that site. Silence. Then a low laugh. Your uncle was right, Makoto said. You can't stay calm. I'll tell you. After tomorrow, the West City project shuts down due to a major safety incident. And you'll take full responsibility as the failed decision maker. You and my uncle, you're working together? My voice shook. Partners, Makoto corrected. Mutual benefit. He wants control of Wang Corporation. And I. His voice turned ice cold. I want the Lu family bankrupt. I want Willow begging me. Willow's lips lost all color. Why? She whispered. When we broke up, you said? Because you chose the Lu family over me. Makoto snapped. I asked you to go to the US with me, you didn't believe I could make it. Now I'll show you what it's like to lose everything. The call cut off. Silence swallowed the room. Damn it, I muttered. I need to get to the site. Willow grabbed my arm. Wait. He said he's working with your uncle? I heard him. My teeth clenched. I knew that old fox was dirty. Willow ran into the study and came back holding photos. Look. Makoto and my uncle clinked glasses at a luxury restaurant. The timestamp read 3 months ago, right when Baidian Capital approached Lu Corporation. Where did you get these? Peston. I hired a private investigator, Willow said. I suspected him. I just didn't expect this. You suspected him from the start? Gut feeling, she replied. Too convenient. I flipped through the photos. In one, I spotted a familiar face. Makoto's assistant whispering to a man in a baseball cap. I recognized him instantly. That's him, I said. The foreman. The key player in tomorrow's accident. Willow leaned closer, her hair brushing my cheek, faint jasmine in the air. I inhaled without thinking. We have to stop them, she said. She stood up, eyes blazing. We're going to the site. Now. Wait, I said, grabbing her arm. If they're desperate. That's why we go quietly, she said. We sneak in, get proof, then act. So at 11 that night, we slipped into the West City construction site. Under the moonlight, the half-built high-rise loomed like a beast skeleton, dark and eerie. Split up. I whispered. She shook her head. Too dangerous. Together. We moved carefully, flashlights dimmed. Suddenly, Willow tugged my sleeve. Someone's there. We hid behind steel bars as 2 shadowy figures hovered near the foundation pit. Tomorrow morning, detonation points here. My blood ran cold. Detonation? I whispered. They're blowing it up. Willow pulled out her phone to record. Clink. Her foot hit an empty can. Who's there? One of them barked. Run. I grabbed Willow's hand and bolted. Footsteps thundered behind us. The exit was right there. Ah. Willow cried as her ankle twisted and she hit the ground. Willow! I turned back just as the 2 men closed in. President Wang? One said, surprised. What a coincidence. It was the foreman and Makoto's assistant. What are you doing here? I shielded Willow. Cameras are under maintenance tonight, the assistant sneered. Boss was right, you couldn't stay out of it. The foreman pulled a knife. Don't blame us. You brought this on yourselves. My mind raced. Fighting them head-on would have been straight-up suicide. I had to outplay them. How much did my uncle pay you? I asked out of nowhere. I'll pay double. The foreman froze, hesitating. Are you serious? Don't listen to him, the assistant snapped. Finish them. Just as the tension hit its breaking point, sirens screamed in the distance. Police, the foreman panicked. Move, the assistant yelled, yanking him back as they bolted into the darkness. I finally let out a long breath and dropped to my knees beside Willow. You okay? Can you walk? I'm fine. Just twisted it a bit. She tried to stand but winced hard. I'll carry you. I crouched down. No, she shut that down instantly. Just help me walk. We struggled toward the exit when Willow suddenly grabbed my sleeve. Wait, the detonation point they mentioned, it should be close. Let's just get out and call the cops. There's no time. She stubbornly flicked on her phone flashlight. Look. Following the beam, I saw several suspicious packages tucked around the main support beams. Explosives. My throat went tight. They were planning to blow this place when workers came in tomorrow. We have to disarm them. Willow limped forward. Are you crazy? I yanked her back. We're not bomb experts. We can't just walk away. She shoved my hand aside. If those things go off. Before she could finish, hurried footsteps echoed behind us. My heart jumped. They're back. President Wang. President Liu. It was Lara's voice. Over here. I shouted. Seconds later, Lara rushed over with 2 security guards, all of them out of breath. Thank God. We got an anonymous tip someone broke into the site. Call the police. Now. I pointed. There are bombs. Chaos exploded instantly. Police and bomb squads swarmed in, sealing off the entire construction site. Willow and I were taken in as witnesses. By the time we finished giving statements, it was already 4 in the morning. Let's get you to the hospital. I glanced at Willow's swollen ankle. No need. I'll ice it at home. You're going. I didn't budge. What if it's fractured? In the end, we went to the ER. Thankfully, it was just a sprain. After bandaging and meds, we were discharged. By the time we got home, dawn was breaking. I helped Willow onto the sofa, handed her an ice pack and a pillow. Thanks, she said softly, way gentler than usual. Hungry? I asked. I can make noodles. She shook her head, then hesitated. That anonymous call, was that you? Some backup move? Huh. I blinked. No. I thought it was you. We stared at each other, both confused. Then who was it? Willow frowned. The thought hit me. Could it be Makoto's assistant? He didn't seem keen on hurting anyone. Maybe. Willow's gaze drifted. Or who? Your uncle. She locked eyes with me. Maybe he didn't know Makoto planned to blow up the site. I paused. Whoever it was, tomorrow, or technically today, is gonna be interesting. Sunlight streamed through the curtains. Only then did we realize we'd been up all night. Get some rest, I said, turning toward the guest room. George. Willow stopped me. Thank you for saving me tonight. I turned back. In the morning light, her bare face looked softer than ever. Her eyes were red with exhaustion, yet she was still stunning. My heart skipped. Of course, I said quietly. If you died, what would this project even mean anymore? The words slipped out before I could stop them. Willow's eyes widened. Her lips parted, but for once she didn't tease or argue. We just looked at each other, the invisible wall between us slowly melting in the pale dawn. Get some sleep, she finally said softly. We've got a tough fight today. I nodded but stayed rooted there. An impulse rose, to step closer, to pull her into my arms. Ring. My phone shattered the moment. It was my dad. Son. His voice was tense. I just got a call from the police. They said you stopped a construction site explosion. What the hell happened? I glanced at Willow and put the call on speaker. Dad, here's what happened. I told him everything. Last night, Makoto, my uncle, all of it. Silence. That bastard, my dad growled. I knew he was scheming with outsiders. Are you and Willow okay? We're fine. Willow just sprained her ankle. Let me talk to her. Willow took the phone, surprised. Uncle Wang. Willow. His voice softened instantly. Thank you for saving the West City project. From today on, you're my daughter. If George dares bully you, I'll break his legs. Willow's eyes filled. Thank you, Uncle. After we hung up, we exchanged a quiet smile. Whatever happened that night had changed something between us. That afternoon, despite Willow's ankle still healing, we headed to the company to confront Makoto and my uncle. The foreman and assistant were detained, but the real masterminds were still free. What's the plan? Willow asked in the car. No plan, I admitted. We wing it. She rolled her eyes. Figures. Useless. What does Director Liu suggest? 2 steps. She held up 2 fingers. First, use the site footage and your phone recording to force a confession. Second, push a merger to win the board and kick your uncle out. I blinked. When did you record it? When Makoto called. She grinned. Basic corporate espionage. Terrifying woman. I shook my head. But I like it. The car went dead quiet. I glanced over. Her ears were pink. She stared out the window. We're here, the driver said. The company lobby was chaos. As we stepped out of the elevator, shouting spilled from the conference room. We pushed the door open. Makoto and my uncle stood before the projector, faces pale. Across from them sat the board, and my dad. Dad. Son. Willow. He strode over and hugged us. Thank God you're okay. Makoto looked sick. Chairman Wang, this is a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I sneered, pulling out my phone. Let's hear it. I played the recording. Makoto's threats filled the room. My uncle's face darkened. Forged, he barked. You framed me. Then explain this. Willow played the construction site footage. Explosives. Clear as day. The room exploded. You conspired with an outsider to destroy your own company? A board member slammed the table. All just to push me off the board, even if people got hurt? My dad shouted, shaking with rage. Do you have any conscience? My uncle went pale, then pointed at Makoto. It was him. His idea. He said once the project failed, George would lose power and I could. Shut up. Makoto yelled, then turned to Willow, suddenly gentle. Willow, I can explain. No need. Her voice was ice cold. The police are already downstairs. Sirens wailed right on cue. Security dragged Makoto and my uncle out as the board launched an emergency session. Willow and I presented the merger proposal and revealed old photos explaining the real story behind the feud. So this 30-year grudge, my dad said slowly, was all a misunderstanding? Yes, Willow nodded. Cruel fate, my dad sighed, then clapped his hands. Then it settled. Wang and Liu corporations will merge operations and jointly develop West City. After the meeting, my dad called us into his office. I've known about your fake marriage all along. We froze. But after all this, he grinned, you actually make a good pair. Maybe make it real. Dad. I groaned. Willow turned red, staring at her fingers. All right. He laughed. Dinner tonight. Your mom misses Willow. Outside we both exhaled. I scratched my head. My dad talks nonsense. Willow nodded softly. After a pause, she said, Tonight, we're really going to your house? If you don't want to. That's not it. She bit her lip. Maybe you should bring more of your stuff back. You can't keep wearing the same shirts. It took me 2 seconds to realize she was inviting me into the master bedroom. Sure. I grinned. But I've got a lot. Don't push it. She shot me a glare, lips curving. That night, my parents welcomed Willow warmly. After 2 glasses of wine, her cheeks turned rosy, and she laughed more than usual. On the ride home, she leaned against the window, sleepy. At a red light, her head tipped, and landed on my shoulder. I shifted so she'd be comfy, then kissed the top of her head. She murmured. Nothing, I whispered. Sleep. I'll wake you. She nodded and snuggled closer. In that quiet moment, city lights flashing by, her warmth against me, I realized happiness could really be this simple. Chapter 7. From Pretend to Real. 2 weeks after the West City crisis, life took on a weird new rhythm. Work came first. Wang and Lu officially merged to form Wanglu United, co-managed by Willow and me. The board approved it unanimously, even the stubborn fossils. Then family. My dad and Mr. Lu somehow became best bros overnight. Golf, whiskey, old stories, like they'd never wanted to kill each other. And finally, George. Socks. For. Again. Oops, my bad. I scooped them up. Ever since I moved into the master bedroom, clashes were daily. Her neat freak energy versus my chaos. Do it again and you're on the couch, she warned. I wrapped my arms around her. You look amazing today, wife. Cut it out. She elbowed me barely. Don't forget the Hunglong meeting. Wouldn't dream of it. I kissed her neck. But that skirt's kinda short. Jealous? She teased. What about that PR director touching your arm last time? Cold sweat. I gotta prep. I bolted. The meeting went great. Hunglong signed immediately. President Wang and Miss Lu are a power couple, their CEO laughed. One dreams big, the other executes. I looked across the room. Willow was explaining something to a client, her fingers gliding quickly across her tablet. The sunlight outlined her profile in a golden glow. Yeah, I murmured. A perfect match. Back at the office after lunch, Lara intercepted me with a mysterious grin. President Wang, Miss Lu's birthday is next week. What are you planning? I froze. Right? October 18th. Willow's birthday. With everything going on, I'd almost forgotten. I haven't decided yet, I said quietly. Got any ideas? Lara's eyes lit up. She loves the seaside. 2 years ago she went to Qingdao alone just to watch the sunrise. I nodded slowly. Maybe it was time. That afternoon, I slipped out under the excuse of meeting a client and made an important call. Dad, I said, standing outside a jewelry store, phone in hand. I want to officially propose to Willow. There was a pause. Didn't you two already get married? That's different, I said, exasperated. It was a business deal back then. Now well, you know what I mean. My dad burst out laughing. Good boy. Finally getting it. What do you need? I want Grandma's ring. Already prepared, he said proudly. It's hidden in my study, inside War and Peace. The code's 0721, your birthday. My nose stung unexpectedly. So my dad had seen this day coming all along. After retrieving the ring, I went straight to the travel agency and booked everything. Plane tickets and a seaside hotel in Qingdao for next weekend. Private beach, ocean view, the works. Everything was perfectly set, except for one thing. Fate, as always, loved to mess with me. The day before our trip, Willow suddenly came down with a fever. 38.5 degrees. I stared at the thermometer, panicking. There's no way we can go tomorrow. Curled up in bed, her cheeks flushed red, Willow whispered weakly, Sorry? I ruined your plan. Silly girl, what's there to apologize for? I brushed her burning forehead. I'll reschedule the flight. And no, she caught my hand. Actually, I have something for you. She pointed toward the top shelf of the bookcase. I reached up and took down a delicate box. When I opened it, I froze. Inside were dozens of chocolate wrappers, each neatly flattened and preserved. On top, one had a tiny note pinned to it. For the most annoying person. These are the ones I gave you in high school? I asked. Willow nodded faintly. They weren't that bad, actually. My chest tightened, a warmth rising that I couldn't contain. As I lifted the wrappers, I found a small diary underneath. I looked at Willow questioningly, but she panicked, trying to snatch it back. You can't read that. Too late. I'd already opened to the first page. October 18, 2009 got an anonymous box of chocolates today. Tastes awful. But the wrapping's nice, keeping it as a bookmark. October 18, 2010. That idiot sent chocolates again. This time he even added a card, for the most annoying person. His handwriting is terrible. But, how did he know my birthday? The more I turned the pages, the harder my heart pounded. All those years, I thought my secret crush was one-sided. All those teasing, challenging words that had really been her way of caring, were written down right there. June 5, 2012. George, that jerk, beat me in the speech contest today. But when he stood on stage, he looked kind of cool. September 1, 2015. First day of college. Heard he got into a school in Shanghai. Maybe it's better this way. I won't have to see him again, right? October 18, 2018. Third year without getting those awful chocolates. Feels strange. The last entry was recent. He said, "If you died, what would this project mean to me?" That idiot. Doesn't he know you can't just say things like that? I closed the diary, hands trembling slightly. Willow had pulled the blanket over her head, hiding like an ostrich. Willow, I gently tugged the blanket down, revealing her red, puffy eyes. "Don't you dare laugh at me," she muttered into the pillow. Laugh? I wouldn't dare. I cupped her face softly. "So, you've liked me all along, huh?" "I have not," she shot back instantly. "I just have a habit of journaling things." "Oh, journaling how much you hate me," I teased. "Exactly." She glared, voice muffled but trembling. "I really hate you." I couldn't help it, I kissed her. This stubborn woman could turn even a confession into an argument. Because of her fever, our Qingdao trip was postponed for a week. By the time Willow had fully recovered, it was late November, and the seaside wind was cold enough to freeze your ears off. "Are you sure you want to watch the sunrise?" I shivered inside my down jacket. "It's 5 degrees below zero, you maniac." But Willow was beaming, hopping across the sand like a kid. "It's beautiful." In the soft dawn light, her smile outshone the rising sun itself. My hand brushed the ring box hidden in my pocket, and my heartbeat stumbled. "George," she suddenly turned to me. "I have something to tell you." "What a coincidence," I said, taking a breath. "So do I. Ladies first." Willow bit her lip and took out a small velvet box from her purse. My eyes widened. "No way. I know we're already married in the legal sense," she said softly, voice as light as the sea breeze. "But I want it." I cut her off, dropping to one knee on the sand and pulling out my own ring box. "Willow, will you officially marry me? Not for business, not for family ties, just because I love you." Willow froze for a second, then burst out laughing. She knelt down too, opening her box to reveal a man's ring. "George, will you officially marry me? Not for family reconciliation, not for strategy, just because I love you." We knelt in the golden morning light, sliding the rings onto each other's fingers before breaking into helpless laughter. "This is so stupid," Willow said, wiping her eyes. "Who proposes to each other at the same time? We're just unconventional," I grinned, pulling her into my arms. "So, when did you prepare the ring?" "Last week," she arched a proud eyebrow. "I beat you to it." "No way. I bought mine 2 weeks ago." Then I realized she was bluffing. "Oh, you little," I lunged, tickling her sides. "Can't stop playing spy games, huh?" Willow giggled uncontrollably, twisting and trying to escape until we both collapsed onto the sand. She lay on my chest, her hair falling over my face, carrying that faint jasmine scent that always undid me. "George," she said suddenly, voice quieter, more serious, "if there hadn't been that business marriage in the first place, would you have pursued me?" "Of course," I said without hesitation. "I wanted to since high school, but I was afraid you'd kill me." She laughed softly. "At least you know yourself. And you, if there hadn't been that family feud." Willow went silent for a moment, then whispered, "Maybe I would've, if you weren't so annoying." I rolled over, pinning her beneath me. "And now? Still think I'm annoying?" She kissed me in answer. On the flight home, Willow fell asleep on my shoulder. I gently ran my thumb over the ring on her finger, my heart overflowing with disbelief. A year ago, We could barely stand each other. And now, what's that smile for? She murmured drowsily. Nothing, I said, kissing her forehead. Just thinking how strange fate can be. Willow smiled faintly, snuggling closer against my chest. Yeah, she whispered. Strange and wonderful. The wedding was set for New Year's Day. As my dad put it, new year, new beginnings, double the happiness. Planning it was somehow more complicated than merging two corporations. We argued 3 times just over the guest list before Willow and I finally surrendered all decision-making power to our mothers, who, as it turned out, were even more competitive than we were. Your elder brother is not invited, Mrs. Liu insisted firmly. He insulted Willow years ago. Then your cousin can stay home too, my mom fired back. He tried to trip George up during the board vote. In the end, both fathers had to step in to mediate, and a truce was barely reached. The night before the wedding, tradition dictated that we stay apart. Back at my parents' house, I found my grandfather waiting for me in the study. Boy, he said, handing me an old envelope, give this to old Lou tomorrow. I opened it. It was a yellowed land deed, the very one that had started the feud between our families. Grandpa, it was his from the start. He sighed heavily. We spent a lifetime fighting, what a waste. My throat tightened. I hugged the stubborn old man, feeling tears sting my eyes. The wedding day dawned bright and clear. Standing on the stage, I watched Willow walk down the aisle on her father's arm, and for a moment, the world stopped. She wore a simple satin gown, hair elegantly pinned up, beauty radiant and effortless. When it came time to exchange rings, I took out Grandpa's envelope and handed it to Mr. Liu's father. The 2 old men locked eyes and then, after decades of silence, they embraced, both crying openly. We wasted too much time, my grandfather choked out. There wasn't a dry eye in the hall. Willow sniffed and pinched me lightly. Your fault, she whispered. My makeup's ruined. At the reception, Willow and I shared our first dance. She leaned close to my ear and whispered, I've liked you for a long time. I was just too scared to admit it. I know, I said, pulling her closer. Because I was too. Married life turned out better than I'd imagined. We worked together, went home together, sometimes argued over chores, and made up just as fast. Willow was still sharp-tongued, I was still shameless, but something had quietly shifted. When she called me an idiot, there was laughter in her eyes. When I teased her relentlessly, there was affection behind it. The West City project was completed on schedule, becoming the city's new landmark. At the ribbon cutting, a reporter asked us the secret to our success. Balance, Willow answered professionally. She makes the money, I spend it. I added, earning a sharp elbow to the ribs. That night, back home, Willow suddenly asked, what if I'd never agreed to that fake marriage in the first place? Then I'd just keep pining after you, I said, wrapping my arms around her from behind. I've been doing it for 10 years already. She turned to face me, eyes glimmering. George, how much time did we waste? It doesn't matter, I whispered, kissing the tip of her nose. We have the rest of our lives. Outside, the first snow of the new year drifted gently down, and inside, it was as warm as spring.